The Judgment Day, one of the greatest factions in WWE history, and throughout their career they've had some high highs and some very low lows. So in today's video, I'm going to do the task of rebooking the entirety of Judgment Day. And we aren't going to go from like the past few weeks or anything like that, no. We're going all the way to the beginning, back when Edge was the leader. So, without further delay, let's get into this rebooking. Now, to kick things off, everything remains the exact same on how they formed. The way that Damien joined the group, and the way that Rhea joined the group. Everything will remain the same up until Hell in a Cell. At this event, this is where I would have Finn Balor turn on AJ Styles and Liv Morgan and join the Judgment Day. Officially. This would lead into a feud with AJ Styles, and Edge will remain the leader. Edge will then bring up the fact that his main goal with forming Judgment Day was not just to help out the young talent, but to get back at Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Because when Edge joined WWE, he wanted to win the championship back, and the championship is currently around Roman Reigns. These two groups will end up going back and forth, but they both know the end goal is Roman versus Edge, which will then result to a match at SummerSlam, where after a hard-fought battle in a no disqualification match, Roman Reigns will pick up the win and retain the titles. They would then have a rematch on SmackDown, where Roman would win again clean. And this is where Judgment Day would turn Edge, as they realize he's the weak link, and all that he's doing is just damaging the group. They then target the Mysterios, and basically everything remains almost the exact same except for Clash at the Castle, as Edge wouldn't have returned yet, so it would have been AJ Styles in Edge's spot. And everything regarding Dominic and Rey Mysterio would remain the exact same. Finn Balor would then get a Universal title shot against Roman Reigns on SmackDown, and this is where Edge would come back. Roman would retain the titles, and then it would eventually lead to a match against Damian Priest at the Royal Rumble. Ultimately, with help from Finn Balor, Damian Priest would pick up the win. Rhea Ripley, much like in real life, would win the Women's Royal Rumble. And then on Raw, we would get a steel cage match between Edge and Priest, where Edge would get his leg back. This entire match will remain the exact same, with Edge and Beth picking up the win. But there will be several changes to WrestleMania, as Finn and Edge's match, the Demon will not lose, and he'll pick up the win, as he should have. As for Rey and Dominic will end up picking up the win, and in the main event, WrestleMania Night 1, I said the main event, Rhea Ripley will end up becoming the SmackDown Championship after beating Charlotte Flair. Everything about Rhea's title reign will remain exactly the same because it was just perfection. Backlash will also remain the exact same, as I would not even touch the Damian Priest and Bad Bunny feud, and Damian still becomes the senior Money in the Bank. And everything will remain the exact same up until the SummerSlam match between Finn Balor and Seth freaking Rollins. And this, my friends, is where Finn Balor would have won the World Heavyweight Championship, as he should have in real life. Moving right along, JD McDonough everything regarding him will remain the exact same, as that was perfect. Same thing with anything around Judgment Day and NXT. And also, too, they would still have all the gold on Raw, but this time officially, because Finn Balor is the World Heavyweight Champion. But that would later on become a problem when Finn has to end up defending the championship the same night. And while Finn Balor and Damian Priest are reigning World Tag Champs, it does become a struggle. And we definitely see that at Fastlane, where even though Finn and Damian do beat Jey Uso and Cody Rhodes in this time, Finn will then have to defend the title later on tonight in the night against Seth, where Seth Rollins would win the World Heavyweight Championship back from Finn Balor. Everything regarding Survivor Series War Games will remain the exact same. As for Dominic Mysterio in the North American Championship, everything will remain exactly the same because it was perfect. The only thing I would change is that Dominic does not lose the belt to Trick Williams at NXT No Mercy. And in this timeline, he'll drop the belt to Oba Femi, as he should have. So Dragon Lee does not beat Dominic for the North American title. Now going into 2024, most of the Judgment Day stuff will remain the exact same, including all the R2 stuff, because that was just perfect. We'll take our first major detail at WrestleMania 40. Because while the Women's World Championship match will remain the exact same, and the same thing with the TLC ladder match, everything will come to a difference with this match. Because while, yes, Cody Rhodes just finished the story, afterwards, Damian Priest comes out, he cashes in, and he becomes the new WWE Champion. And, hey, Drew McIntyre at least gets its happy ending. I know it's bold, but it works in the sense of what Cody Rhodes was doing. It's honestly just perfect that with Cody Rhodes, he finally finished the story. He finally won the match, but then he gets everything taken away from him, and he has to go through the journey again. Now, quickly, I'm just going to talk about Drew McIntyre as well for a short while. Drew McIntyre will end up going up against Jey Uso at Backlash in France. And Damian Priest will take on AJ Styles at France, because I will not change anything about AJ Styles in France. Both of the world titles will retain on this night. Cody Rhodes will then come back on the Backlash after... the Raw after Backlash. And where he'll talk about that he would want another shot at Damian Priest. But then AJ Styles comes out and he says that he also wants a title shot. One more match against Priest. Priest then decides that he'll defend the championship in a triple threat match at Clash at the Castle between Cody Rhodes, AJ Styles, and himself for the WWE Championship, where Damian Priest will pick up the win. As for Drew McIntyre, don't worry, this will be the final time I talk about Drew McIntyre in this video. He'll take on Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship before then losing it because of interference from CM Punk, as Punk will interview the exact same way. Interfere the exact same way he did in the Drew vs. Priest match in real life, but this time it's just Gunther. And Gunther would become World Heavyweight Champion here. Every single bit of Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan, and Rhea Ripley will remain the exact same, because that was genuinely one of the best storylines of 2024. The only thing I would change though is Liv Morgan actually has title defenses, because this is a problem with also her current reign. She didn't really have that many defenses, so she'll probably defend against Io Sky and a few other women, while Rhea Ripley is hurt. Damian Priest will then get into a feud with Solo Sikoa for the WWE Championship, where Damian Priest will pick up the win at Money in the Bank. By the way, speaking of the Money in the Bank, LA Knight would win this year's Money in the Bank instead of Drew McIntyre. Then you all are welcomed. Cody Rhodes would end up winning this year's King of the Ring, and then he would get a shot at Damian Priest's WWE Championship again. I feel like it makes more sense for Cody Rhodes to win the King of the Ring here instead of Gunther, because, again, in this rebooking, Gunther's champion. Speaking of Gunther, the way that the Gunther and Damian Priest match happened is basically the same way I would have the Cody and Priest match happen, with Finn Balor costing Damian Priest the title, which has Cody Rhodes becoming a two-time WWE champion. Anything that Cody Rhodes does after this is totally up to y'all. Maybe he turns heel. I don't know. Finn Balor would end up joining Judgment, would end up reforming Judgment Day in a new way, with basically how it was in real life is what I'm saying. It starts off the same until we get to Bad Blood, where, first of all, Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley will be in no disqualification, so that it makes more sense that Raquel doesn't look like a bumbling idiot helping out Liv. And then Damian Priest versus Finn Balor would end with Balor actually picking up the win like he should have done in real life. Finn Balor would then get into a feud with the WWE Championship. Sorry about that. With the WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, where Rhodes would pick up the win after interference from Damian Priest. This would lead to the street fight like they had in real life, where Priest would win. And honestly, for the next few months, Judgment Day remains the exact same, yeah. Which is kind of crazy, but yeah, I feel like they honestly booked Judgment Day really well. The biggest change that would really start coming up is when Liv Morgan gets injured. But aside from that, everything before that with like Dominic Mysterio winning the IC title and all that will remain the exact same. But anyways, getting into Liv's injury, after she gets injured, this is where I would bring both Roxanne Perez and Julia into the group. Yes, I said and Julia, because I'm not disbanding this group, this duo, because it was just great. They will both get introduced to Judgment Day the exact same way in real life, and this is where I would actually have Finn Balor strike. And it'll happen during the Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles feud, where at Clash in Paris, yes, this match will actually happen at Clash in Paris, unlike real life, where during the match, Finn Balor would interfere and just destroy Dominic Mysterio, causing AJ Styles to win the Intercontinental Championship for the second time. Jamie McDonough, Raquel, and Liv would end up being kicked out of the group after Liv comes back and all that stuff. This would then lead to AJ Styles joining forces with Finn Balor, Julia, and Roxanne Perez to form a new unstoppable stable in the WWE known as the Judgement Club. And that's where it would end, because that would be the official end of Judgment Day. And the Judgement Club is a whole different faction. It's not the same as Judgment Day. What do you guys think? Did you like this rebooking? Or do you think I should have rebooked other stuff further on in Judgment Day? I'd like to hear your opinions in the comments. And also, too, what are your thoughts on me continuing this fantasy booking with the Judgement Club? I'd like to hear all your opinions in the comments. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your friends. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Deuces, ooses, yeet.